podcast brought to you by Roughneck Scarves and Golden Gold Press. My name is Tony. I'm here with Dave and David. Dave Stevens, David Sterling. I'm Tony Pervenanzi. We're here today from... Guys, I've never been to this bar before, this brewery that we're at.
I've been here at least once.
Well, I've been here once before, but it looks different now.
Oh, there's a lot different.
They're a little different. Sterling, you want to explain where we're at right now?
We're at, I don't know, Sterling's, I guess.
Sterling's place?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so David has a little bar down in this basement. And actually, it's a fantastic bar.
I don't know if you could call it a little bar.
No, it's. No. I have a little bar at my house. This is a big bar. He's got the kegerator. He's got the tap. He's got glasses everywhere. He's got liquor. He's got wine. Everything you want in a bar. Pretty much.
There's a little bourbon here too, I'd say.
Yeah, just a little bourbon. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I could maybe make, maybe 80% of drinks that you could think of.
Nice.
Maybe. It might be a little much, but
I mean, hats off to you, sir. This is a place, I tell you. So we're here today because, well, we didn't want to do one at like a brewery because we're going to actually be doing one at a brewery in a week. So we wanted to give David a little time off from doing a lot of editing. But we felt we needed to do a podcast this week because there's been some games. And
we would have had like 5 games to talk about.
Yeah.
Next episode.
Last podcast, you guys were in Madison. I do want to say you guys did a great job. And I listened to it. It was awesome. I felt bad that I couldn't be there. Just a little background for you guys why I couldn't be there. First and foremost, you guys brought on the podcast. My wife did break 3 of her toes stepping off a curb after the New Kids on the Block concert. So she was in a boot. So that was a couple weeks ago. And then that same week, my oldest daughter, Lauren, who's 11, I had to take her to the emergency room to find out that she had kidney stones. Now, how an 11-year-old has kidney stones, we don't know yet.
Right.
So my weekend was pretty much shot. She stayed overnight in the hospital, and then we had to go back on Monday, and they put stents in, and now they're putting a laser. They're going to do a laser surgery tomorrow to get rid of this dang thing. So the only cool thing was, her doctor, when they came out and were talking about the laser, she did the Austin Powers. We had to find a laser thing. Nice. I started laughing, and my wife's like, "What are you talking about?" Austin Powers. That's hilarious. I love this doctor. This is great. And to top it all off, the weekend after Lauren had her kidney stones, my youngest daughter, Nora, ended up with some sort of virus. So it was a bad run in the house.
Yeah, like we brought up, it was a rough, I guess, more than a week for the Pervenanzi household, to say the least.
It was tough. It was tough. I felt bad about missing it, missing the podcast, but you guys did a great job. I mean, you guys, life happens. I don't know. I mean, this just came out of the blue. It was weird,
Well, we thought about canceling the podcast. We didn't think we'd get through it without you, but
oh, come on, you guys got through it just fine. You guys had a good time out there in your little excursion.
I mean, we got through it because we had so much support.
There was, we had a lot to talk about. We had 6-7 guests. At any given
it was
time.
crazy.
Which managing that was
think if I had been there,
the flock,
right?
The flock, they were unbelievable.
Yeah.
Connor. Give a shout, Connor and Ann from the flock who joined us 2 weeks ago. They were great. A lot. It was just nice to hear what they had to say.
Yeah. Like I said, I wish I could have been there. I know you guys had a good time, but I'm back now. So we're back to full strength once again.
Right, and our numbers will do one of 2 things: either fall or climb.
Well, I'd hope they'd climb.
Well, they're definitely going to climb. I think people are really curious about Sterling's bar, and I think
maybe I'll add a couple pictures so they can see it.
You should add it up there.
And we also, I'm going to point out, have a tiny bit of zombie talk.
We do
later in the episode.
Okay,
it has to do with this bar.
Okay, with this bar. Okay, that's fine. We should say what we're drinking because we're at Sterling's bar, and of course we brought our own beers. Sterling, you got one of the ones that I brought.
Yeah. So I got the Bent Paddle Trampled American Golden Ale. It was a collaboration with Trampled by Turtles. Great band.
Yes, they are.
This is really good. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a golden ale.
Yeah, can't get those wrong.
Nothing spectacular, but it's just good.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say about it.
It's cool they did a collaboration with Trampled by Turtles. Yeah. I think they're a Duluth band, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. So that's why they did it. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Stevens, what you got?
Yeah, okay, so I've got something I've never tried before. It's and thanks to David Sterling for this. I've been trying the slow motion car wash from is it Abel's Seed House? Again, I don't think I haven't had any of their beers, and actually, so this is my first. And so this the slow motion car wash. They simply call it a fruit ale, but it's made with lactose, blueberries, boysenberries, peaches, cherries, and raspberries. So this is what I'd ask you guys. Is this something similar to like you guys like those milkshake IPAs, and how would this compare to that?
It's a little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And with that rice background, which I noticed they don't say that on there.
Oh yeah, and that's why I was just kind of reading the label.
It's a interesting flavor,
Yeah,
interesting texture.
You said rice because as soon as you said that, I said, "Oh, I'm going to try that." I used to like Budweiser, which is brewed with rice.
Disturbing that,
but
you even mentioned that.
I don't drink Budweiser these days, but it's just when you said that, that's what kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually enjoy it, and it does remind me of those milkshake IPAs,
which are fantastic.
Yeah.
I wasn't particularly excited about that beer when I tried it last week, but it's not bad.
Oh yeah, and speaking of which, I'm not going to give a plug per se, but I was actually in Eau Claire last night, and the venue, I was there for a wedding. The venue, there was across the street from the venue was actually a brewery, and it was called Project Brewing or
I've heard of that.
It was fairly new actually, and they had a couple milkshake IPAs on their menu, so
nice.
I actually tried both of them there. And
that'd be interesting to go to Eau Claire. There's some Loons fans in Eau Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt, and like that's why like we do this podcast from different breweries, but say pick a town in the Midwest, probably in America, and the same thing that's happening here with these breweries popping up is happening everywhere. And obviously, it was clear in Eau Claire too. I mean, places were brand new. It was beautiful space.
I think we have to hit Duluth first, though.
Yeah,
Then
it would be
Eau Claire.
nice to do Duluth.
Yeah. I'm drinking. I already drank the Ford Madison Cherry Kolsch you guys brought back from One Barrel for me. So thank you. That was delicious.
Yep.
But I'm now drinking the Surly Stunner Tropical Ale. And this is pretty much, it's an ale that's got some tropical mango flavoring to it. It's another Surly one-off for the summer type of thing. You know, Surly does this. Surly has a lot of different beers going on now. I can't even keep track of what the heck's happening, but they got the Stunner. They've got another one. What is it called? I just had it, Stargazer or something like that. And they've got another. They've got a Mexican one now.
Oh, it's like a traditional Mexican style beer?
No, it's a collaboration with somebody else, and it's a Mexican one, and it's aged in tequila bottles or tequila barrels. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: when was the last time you actually went into the Surly tap room?
I haven't been there for a long time.
I was there, I think, about 2 months ago with a kind of a work happy hour, and I've been to that tap room maybe a total of 4 or 5 times, and but it had been a little while since I'd been there last. And the thing I want to bring up is the number of beers that they have available on tap in that tap room is just unbelievable. Stuff that I didn't even recognize.
I know
you probably would.
I'm telling you right now, they've got so much stuff coming out every other week that I can't even I can't keep track of it all.
Since they moved into that new space over there, not far from TCF Bank, they've expanded. And so they have their capacity is just, I can't give you exact numbers, but it's grown significantly. In what
the last time I was there,
what was that?
Home opener. 2017.
Oh wow! Okay.
That is the last time I was there.
You guys did the March, didn't you?
So I don't.
Yeah.
At that point, they had not expanded, or at least they hadn't finished the expansion. I don't believe.
Yeah.
'Cause it's grown big time.
So we're still drinking beers even though we're not at our brewery. So we have 2 games to talk about, guys. The first game we should get to is the Open Cup match versus Houston.
Yeah.
Now, before this game even started, I said, there's not going to be anybody there.
Right.
Because Houston doesn't get fans to those games.
And you had been correct.
And it's a U.S. Open Cup, so they don't give a shit.
Right.
And it's going to be super hot.
Yes, so I was going to bring that up. The 12th man certainly showed up in full force in Houston, but it wasn't the crowd.
It was the heat, and that's we played games in Houston before, and every game we played in Houston, it's been super hot, and we sucked.
Right.
We have not looked good.
In my notes, I actually specifically wrote down the temperature at kickoff. It was 94 degrees, and partly cloudy. Unfortunately, I don't have the humidity numbers, but I can only imagine they were sky high
I could have sworn they said that the heat index was over 100.
Okay, so that would mean very hot, very humid, just kind of a miserable midweek game. It's not a game you can understand. Like that, we brought it up last year. I'm like, why is it so hard to travel in MLS? Why is the road versus home splits? Why are they so different? And I think this is a perfect example of that. Who wants to go down midweek, play a game in 95 degrees, heat index of over 100? It's just it doesn't even sound fun.
It's terrible.
Right. It's not a league game, even though we've talked about it before. I think they are and should place importance on the U.S. Open Cup. Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, I agree. I think what was worse is it was a Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have a weird.
It's
just a weird. I don't know. Wednesdays for MLS are pretty normal. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it's a Tuesday, to me, I bet that maybe just hit some people weird.
So again, nobody there.
Dylan Whoppers was there.
It was his birthday. It was a Dylan Whoppers. What are they called?
Derby.
Dylan Whoppers Derby.
Yeah. And that's one of those things. MLS has been really big about forcing rivalries.
Yes.
And I actually find this one to be kind of humorous. And
funny.
I kind of like it.
I like it too.
It's... And if anybody doesn't know the story, it was last year the feed froze on Happy Birthday Dylan Wolpers when it wasn't even supposed to be on the feed to begin with.
No, it wasn't.
Somehow it got mixed up with the infield or in-stadium screen.
Yep. Yeah, and to be fair, this is pre-ESPN Plus, streaming all the broadcasts. This was you have to go on the internet and open a link and stream the broadcast.
Yeah. And so, of course, everyone was like, who the hell is Dylan Wolpers? And it took off from there, and now both teams, both fan bases have gotten into it. And I actually kind of think it's kind of cool. I mean,
and the guy's cool. And the thing is, like, let's say if Dylan Whoppers was an asshole and didn't want to deal with this, right? He's like, this is stupid. I don't want to deal with this crap and blah, blah, blah. It'd be a different story. This guy, like, takes it all in stride. Him and his girlfriend take it in stride. They're like, we got birthday cakes. I mean, he's at the stadium getting jerseys and stuff. It's like, dude, run with it, man.
Yeah, he ended up getting, was it Jan's jersey, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a really cool, just organic, odd thing. And it's nice that they're in our conference, so we play them at least twice a year. Mm-hmm. With how the U.S. Open Cup does their regional stuff, it's probably there's a chance at a third time in a season. So, it's just kind of a odd sort of gimmick thing that happened naturally, and of course, it happened on his birthday this year.
It did, yes. He had birthday cake.
Even better.
Yeah. So, but we go to the Dylan Whoppers Derby, and we think we're probably going to lose this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Here's how I look at it. I mean, I think their starting 11, Minnesota's that is, was pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did what we could.
Yeah. We did what we could, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we were still dealing with some of the international call-ups and some injuries. Mm-hmm. And then going into the game, let's talk maybe about an hour before game time. You look at Houston's lineup, and I think Jamie Watson called it experimental at best because they're dealing with some of the same issues that we were. Injuries, international call-ups, everything. But going into the game, and you looked at the two starting 11s, you'd have to give the edge to Minnesota in that regard. Now, of course, we're on the road.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But
however, it's away.
There's history. There's history there. There's history there.
History with in Houston, crappy weather.
Yeah.
Of course, it wasn't raining like last year, but
yeah.
I would say I was not remotely confident with a good loss.
Reminds me, and Steve, you'll know about this. It reminds me of the Twins at Yankee Stadium. It's like we can never, even if we have a better team than the Yankees, it seems like we never win at Yankee Stadium.
And it's not just Minnesota. I mean, like, we're talking about MLS league play. I mean, Houston up to that point, and still are, I believe. They were undefeated at home in MLS play. And I mean, overall, that side was tremendously strong going into that game. They had, in 13 games they had played overall at that point, they'd allowed